Okay, let's take a look at my 5x5 typical categories head-to-head Yahoo team. This is a draft in which I feel like I was 98% exactly what I wanted to do. Let's just screen real quick and go down to my first drafted pitcher, Blake Snell in the 10th round. I think it's pretty good value, but that's not really the point. The point is I'm focusing on 5 category, elite or near elite, but 5 category standouts or 4 category power standouts. And you might look at Byron Buxton or Tyler O'Neill and say, well, they're not really 5 category contributors because of average. That's fine. I don't think they're going to bat 210, so I don't think they're going to hurt you that much. So I do consider Byron Buxton and Tyler O'Neill 5 category contributors because I think they'll bat 240, and I don't consider that enough of a batting average deficit to really desperately need to make it up with a batting average specialist later on. However, I do have Jose Altuve to make everyone else look a little bit better. So what I've mentioned so far generally underscores exactly my strategy that has radically changed from last year. But for 2023, I am drafting 5 category standout contributors. They can be just okay and average, but they need to have at least 20 stolen bases and 20 home runs and at least 10 stolen bases. They can't be just okay and in anything really but average, or runs or RBI, but they need power and speed. And I'm doing that, or a 4 category contributor, but they need to be a power standout if they're a 4 category contributor. I think power, as was the case last year in 2022, is going to be rare, and I think stolen bases is also going to be a highly sought after commodity and fairly rare. Now, the stolen base, quick note on the rule change, stolen base, pickoff move limitations, I think is actually going to help players who are either really fast and bad base stealers or players that are already trained in stealing bases in their career. I don't think all of a sudden someone who steals 1 or 2 bases a year is going to pop up to 10 because the extra big lead, once the pitcher has no more pickoff attempts, isn't going to help them unless they're trained in stealing bases. And I don't think that you can train yourself to be a great base stealer in one spring training or one off season. So I think, if anything, it's not going to evenly help all players elevate their stolen bases. It's actually going to help, I think, more the people who already steal bases disproportionately. So power and speed. Now, I missed the first round of my draft. I'm totally fine getting Julio Rodriguez. I probably would have went with pick 5. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I would have gone Julio Rodriguez. I try to get a third baseman and then a second baseman. And then after that, sometimes I double tap second base or third base. Not double tap if I'm on the turn, but in second and third round, just to keep other people from getting a second or third baseman. That's one more team without a premier second baseman. And of course, I can always put them at utility. Now, all 5 category contributors, so Julio Rodriguez, Bobby Witt, Jose Altuve, so he's sort of an exception. He had 58 RBI last year. He did have 18 stolen bases. He was borderline. I actually was waiting to take Jazz Chisholm later on, but I couldn't pass up the track record of batting average, and I couldn't pass up the the fact that he's going to be healthy. And I just couldn't take Jazz Chisholm at 29. But he follows the 5-category contributor. I think he'll get more than 58 RBI. If he doesn't, I make a little bit of an exception because I don't think a lot of second basemen are going to get RBI these days. And he's such a plus in batting average. And I tend to draft a lot of 240, 250 guys who are otherwise very good in the other 4 categories. So I saw after round 3 that I still had a good amount of 5-category or 4-category power standout guys left. So I went elite relief pitcher, which is something that I don't usually do, but elite relief pitcher you can bank on for about 30 saves and really good ratios and a lot of strikeouts per inning, like 80 strikeouts in 50 innings or even more with Edwin Diaz on good teams. That's something you can't make up for with someone else. You'd have to get, you can't make up for it with anyone else except really strong starting pitching. And while we'll have competitive starting pitching on this squad, I'm not going to pick up Aaron Nola early on, and I'll tell you why. And I can't just get 3 closers because that would take 3 roster spots to get, 3, Carlo Estevez's to get the number of saves that Josh Hader would get. So I went Josh Hader. O'Neill Cruz should be a 4-category stud. I mean, he could bat 250, honestly. Salvador Perez fits the 4-category standout. He might not have phenomenal runs. He won't have phenomenal runs. He won't have good runs, but he'll have enough at the catcher position. So you see I'm making some exceptions at second base for the 5-category or 4-category players at positions at which there aren't too many options after the first 5 or 6 that are standouts. But Sal Perez should get 30 home runs. All right. Then I took another closer for the Braves. Iglesias. Buxton will be a stud, except for batting average. Tyler O'Neill is a good bounce back candidate. And then I took Blake Snell, Scott Barlow. I eventually took Aroldis Chapman. So that's what it looks like. Now, what does it look like in total? You're thinking my pitching is going to suck. Well, let's just go through this real quick. I got C.J. Cron. Let's go through my hitting first. And then I'll tell you how my pitching is going to be competitive. I got C.J. Cron. And he's going to... So he had 22 home runs last year. Batted over 300 with 75 RBI. That's just at home. I'm going to play him every home game. And then I picked up Miguel Vargas and Will Myers. Play Will Myers when... what's-his-face is on the road. Actually, I dropped Will Myers to pick up Cody Morris, so probably not. But so when C.J. Cron is on the road, I'll have Miguel Vargas, who looks like he could be like a 2015 guy. And he's looking like the everyday second baseman, or at least that's been floated out there by the Dodgers. Okay. Do I have to explain any others? I don't think so. Josh Young is going to be a stud. He's protection for my third base in case I have to move Witt to shortstop if Cruz isn't playing, etc., etc. Tyler Stevenson had over 1,000 OPS last year at home. He's going to play almost every day, so he's protection for when Sal Perez doesn't play, or if I need batting average help that particular week, because Tyler Stevenson was a 300 hitter. Now, I do have Josh Young, but I picked up Jordan Walker because he's a stud. And if he turns into a 2020 kind of guy, then I can afford to trade maybe Bobby Witt for some help later on. And I have C.J. Abrams because he's just a plug-and-play guy. I don't have anyone else at second or short. Not plug-and-play. He's a plug-in guy for days off. And he should steal 30 bases. But the... I think Cody Bellinger, by the way, is going to have a bounce-back year. But the current squad right now is going to have, projected to have about 265 home runs. That's great, even in a 12-man, 12-team league. Okay? Batting average deficit guys. Bobby Witt, possibly O'Neal Cruz, Tyler O'Neill, Byron Buxton. I don't think Josh Young will be, but Cody Bellinger might be. So I don't have a strong batting average base, but Julio Rodriguez, Altuve, Sal Perez should be a slight plus. CJ Cron should be a slight plus. I just realized I have two CJs on the team, CJ Cron, CJ Abrams. So, but batting average isn't going to be my strong suit necessarily. But I have like 140 steals with this team as well. Like, I'll dominate the 4 categories and I'll be competitive in phone call. Sorry. I'm gonna have 160. I'm gonna have guys on days off plug in. I got first, third, catcher, short, and outfield covered with my bench guys, without Will Myers, because I'm picking up Cody Morris now. So I have a dominant offense, in my opinion. Let's look at my pitching, okay? Because I didn't take Blake Snell until late. 10th round, that's when I took my first starting pitcher. And in fact, I have only 3 starting pitchers. One of them is Jack Flaherty, okay? Blake Snell and Freddie Peralta. I think those guys are going to give me top 40 quality stats on a per inning basis, okay? But the reason I put off starting pitching so much is there are a lot of deals between 100 and 260. Okay, I picked Jack Flaherty around like 270. And if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. That's fine. But I can replace them this year. So now I have 3 starting pitchers who will give me quality starts on winning teams, by the way. Fairly important when it comes to wins. Then I have 2 stud closers that I really don't have to worry about losing their jobs on very good teams. Then I have Barlow and Chapman. So that comprises my third closer, not on a good team, but one of them will be a closer. Maybe they split duties and I keep them both. If one takes a job or runs away, I drop one and I free him up. I free a roster spot up to stream starting pitchers, and that's where I'm going with this. Who else do I have? Carlos Estevez. That's just insurance. Having a fourth closer is probably not necessary, but I drafted him in case he is the closer, he's very good, and at which case, I can trade Barlow and Chapman, or probably don't want to trade Hader or Iglesias. So, but not a priority. I have excellent closers, probably the best or second best in the league, and in quality, and I have kind of like 3.5, 4 closers out of my 5 relief pitcher spots. It's a little bit inefficient, but that's fine. Now, what am I going to do about starting pitching? Well, I realized that, where is it? Jack Flaherty was a good dart throw at the end, but I didn't need to pick him up. I thought Peralta and Snell are a cut above what we can find on the waiver wire. But I'm going to end up dropping, I picked up Cody Morris instead of Will Myers, but I'm going to end up dropping, maybe Walker or Bellinger, a little bit into the season. Whoever these, I don't need all of these guys, okay? They provide me depth at every position, my bench bats. But I'm going to end up dropping 1 or 2 there, and then I'm going to end up dropping, maybe Estevez, or trading Estevez in a 2-for-1 deal, or Barlow and Chapman if Estevez looks like he's the guy, and, the Angels should be pretty good actually this year. They should be a winning team anyway, if not a playoff team. Then I'll have 3 closers still. So I'm gonna free up about 4 spots. At which point I'm going to stream my starting pitching, and it's not going to be the best starting pitching in the league, but it's going to be competitive. Sorry, I get my little kiddo here. It's going to be competitive because look at some of these starting pitchers who are on the waiver wire. Let's go. Hayden Wesneski could be okay. Cody Morris, picked him up. Bailey Ober, if he's pitching. Okay, what do they have him projected for? 3.66, 1.13. That's pretty good with a strikeout per inning on a winning team. He's injured a lot, but that's fine. Let's go down to, I'm going to probably pick up Tarek Skubal, who had a breakout year, pop him on my DL. at some point. Mike Clevenger, I'm not too excited about. Carlos Carrasco's okay. What's he projected for? More than a strikeout per inning, 1.3 whip. Yeah, it's not great, but it's okay. There are better pitchers I'm more excited about. If Bailey Falter ever gets gets that fifth spot in the rotation, he could be a pretty good pitcher on a winning team. Reed Detmers broke out in the second half last year. Justin Steele's Noah Syndergaard might be okay. With the Dodgers, he might get some wins. I'm looking for better pitchers here. I'm not seeing them. Luis Ortiz, Ryan Nelson, Kyle Bradish, and if he's at home, Mike Soroka, who only has Ian Anderson to compete with. And remember, Alex Wood had a very good season, good stretch at the end of last year. I thought Tyler Mahle was available. I really like Tyler Mahle. Erod, I'm looking for a good bounce back. And you might not be Braxton Garrett, could be the fifth starter. Kyle Muller is a long shot, but he could be good. Now, you're not going to be incredibly excited by, what's it called? Freddie Peralta. And who else do I have? Blake Snell, Freddie Peralta, Jack Flaherty, and the guys I'm mentioning here. Kenzie Gore, I think, could be pretty good. But I don't have to be great. When it comes to starters, we're talking about wins and Ks mostly. My ERA is going to be decent. Oh, I love Trevor Rogers and Aaron Ashby eventually, second half of the year. But Trevor Rogers, I think he figured it out at the end of last year. I just have to be competitive. I'm not trying to win 4 out of 5 pitching categories. I'm definitely going to win saves in most weeks. Okay, I can, if I want to, stop if I have 20 innings with a couple of my pitchers, elite ratios and saves, and I can win the 3 categories and sit them. Kind of do the Marmol strategy. Probably going too far here with the starting pitchers. But if not, I'm definitely going to win a majority of saves. I'll still be competitive with my starting pitchers and my 2 elite closers in whips and ERA. And then if it looks like I'm losing whip and ERA, I can, that week, but I am getting saves, I can stream the heck out of my starters so that I just end up winning saves, wins, and strikeouts. And if I only get 2, that's fine. If I only get 1, that's fine a couple of weeks if I only get saves. But my offense is going to carry me. And I don't think that my pitching will be below 500 for the year in the 5 categories. But there's no chance that my offense is below 500. And so I think this is the most efficient strategy.